Hey everyone, welcome back to Humans of Galgotias. Today we have a very special guest with us, Aaryan Tyagi sir, the Vice President, and asking him all the right questions, we have Devansh Kaushik sir, the former Vice President. So plug in, chill out, and enjoy the convo. Let's get started.
So, since I was a member of student council at my point, I would like to cut to the chase and come to the controversial part first so that we can, just clear out the air once and then move ahead with it. I mean, Aryan, what was the first thing that got you into the core team? What was the decision that wanted you to go into the core team?
So council is more like a journey, right? You start as a member, you get to be the coordinator, and then you go around the head. So this journey really connects you with council, right? Now that I think of it, earlier I used to think people, who are passed out and have been the core, why they are so much included in it, still that they have left the university. So I realized it when I became the head because you really get connected with this when you be a part of it. And when I was the head, I thought, ki, now that I have one more year left, since I'm coming from a B.Tech background and I have 4 years of my education, so I thought, why not? It is very simple for me. I mean, I had an option and I just took it.
That's actually really amazing because I kind of resonate on the same that you build your journey throughout the council. It's not just one part of it, but the more you advance, the more you get involved into it.
Right, you get it. Let me ask you, why were you the core person? Why did you go for core?
Honestly, I did not know that I was in code 2 days 2 days before I was you know got when I got to know that I was in the core. That was the first time. I did not pay for the interview or anything. But if I look back, I would say I was into the core for the sheer purpose of networking. I'm not gonna lie, networking was like my I would say purpose. Let's say everyone in university in the student council talk about being selfless towards the council. I say that's good, but what about yourself? So for me, that was networking.
Makes sense to me. Even I think, even if I talk to anyone from the admin and they ask you what you guys are doing in your life. So that is when you get a hit, right? Even if you're in council, you're in core, but what are you doing to yourself? What are you
Exactly.
doing for yourself? So
Exactly.
that makes sense. Networking is one. I would agree.
So now that I know the why part as to why you went for the core, I don't know. There was this point, considering like I was not active in council, but I still heard it. There was this point in time where I heard this news coming around that Aryan is gonna be the next president after the last president was not there. So I mean, what was the conversation that the core team had, and what was the decision? The decision that was made, like how did we reach that point that the current president is there right now, like, and he's doing tremendous job, no doubt. But like, what was the conversation that led to this point?
Of course, Adil is doing a great job as a president. I would not deny to it. Yet again, back when council was revamping all of it, so I got a chance. But I believe I was juggling a lot of things all together. So I believe presidency was something I would say ki someone could have been a better option than me because I could have not give my 100% to it at that point of time, I believe. But that is when I chose to be the vice president. Also, I believe ki Adil is still the better option for the president than me because he could really give his 100% there, and I have a lot of things. I was also doing ISEC back then. I was also handling vice presidency for outgoing global volunteer at ISEC in Noida. So, I don't want it to ruin the experience someone who is working under me, the clubs that are working with us. So I chose not to go for the top,
Definitely.
but someone who can give experience day to day, not every day, but day to day.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. That absolutely makes sense. But for the people that are gonna see this video, I still would like to remind them one thing: that me, Adil, and Aryan come from the same club.
yeah,
Not many people know that Adil was from marketing club. The first club, I think it was the first or the second club that he joined. That was marketing club.
we used to make announcements together in classes.
Oh God, I
Nostalgia.
remember.
Yeah.
Man, but yeah, now there's another perspective to it. Let's say what we're talking about, that when you join council, there is one thing that you devote yourself to the council, and then there's a personal benefit out of it. So in that personal sense, like, what got you to apply for the position of VP, or what got you to stay for it for the whole tenure? Like, you know it, we have seen, you know, many people in the middle of the tenure, they just go on to say that maybe this is not for me and I'm gonna leave. And they leave. They actually leave. So what got you to stay and at the first place make you apply for that position?
I'll start very simple. I mean, look at it this way. I'm a BTech grad, all right. When I come and sit for my interviews for any job application, for any company, be any company, be it an MNC or be it a startup, let's just say, I believe if you cannot present yourself, no matter how much knowledge you have, does not matter. Maybe I'm a star player of BTech. I know all the codings, I know all the languages, I know everything. But what if I cannot present it? I need those qualities from somewhere. I need those skills from somewhere, right? I need to network. I need to connect with people. That is what you learn in council. And that is what I learned in council. Now, when I was the head, I believe I was saturated through all the qualities that I could attain. But yet again, it was one thought at the back of my mind. I thought maybe there could be something more that I could get out of it. So why not go for?
Why not?
Why not? I mean, yeah. So why not?
Why not? So now I have couple of questions from the host club, that is HOG, Humans of Galgotias. These people were really keen on asking you some questions, and I would love to, you know, just convey their message to you. So why, like, let's say, I would be very actually uncandid with you. When I was in the core, and you know, I heard people around me that if you are going to apply for the core, it has to be presidency.
Okay.
But the first position that you applied was for vice president, and that you got. That was the position that you got, the one that you wanted. But like, why vice presidency and not presidency? Like, what was that, you know, difference in it, or what was your thought process behind it when you went for it?
I mean, I could be wrong on this, Devansh, sir, but I believe ki, if people think if they're applying for core and they should only go for presidency is something very immature of them. I can be wrong. I should be sorry about it, but I can be wrong. Ki, if you're going for council and you really look forward to just one position, that is presidency, that is very immature of you, because you should be thinking about giving experience to someone who is junior to you, right? And if you could suffice yourself to some department, to some other position, and you can still give it, why not? If presidency is so important to you, that means it is a selfish motive. That is what I believe. Again, it's just an opinion, it's not an argument. It comes right complete from me. It's just a perspective. It can be wrong. But again, if you're just projecting a position on yourself कि मेरे को सिर्फ इस चीज के लिए जाना है, that is very wrong of you, because अगर आप सिर्फ ये चीज अपने लिए सोच रहे हो and you're thinking about कि what you can give out of it to other people who are actually working under you is
Something different.
it's delusional. I would say it's obnoxious. You should really think about कि अगर आप बहुत ऊपर position पे हो and you have got it with your hard work and everything, you should actually focus on कि दूसरे लोग जो आपके नीचे work कर रहे हैं, जो clubs जो आपके नीचे अब आने वाले हैं, जो नए लोग आप recruit कर रहे हो college से, they should have an experience out of the clubs. जो clubs individually अलग अलग अपने domain पे काम कर रहे हैं, उनमें functioning अच्छे से हो रही है या नहीं. If I were the president, I would really look after कि हर क्लब में काम क्या सही से चल रहा है, क्या उनको वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग, उनको वो एक्सपीरियंस जिसके लिए वो आ रहे हैं उस क्लब में, उनको वो मिल रहा है या नहीं.
Yeah, that's actually true. I mean, when you are holding one specific position, you know where your mind is, you know where your aim is, where your aim is. But still, you know, I would like to circle back to this. Like, this is a general persona that we should have, a person should have before, you know, he or she or they apply for the core position. Like, but I would really like to know your insight as to why not presidency, because your first instinct was you would like to go for vice presidency, and what you mentioned is absolutely on spot. That is spot on. But what was your personal reason that you did not wanted to go for presidency and vice presidency? Like, what was something that was personal for you?
I could say my priorities were quite different at the moment. Let's just say, considering I come from a BTech background, I had a lot on my plate, projects, jobs, and etc., etc. So, and like I said, ISEC was one. So I would having experience almost anywhere I could get it. Now again, if I go for presidency, that means I'm devoting myself, if not 100%, maybe 95%. But again, it was not something that I could have been able to.
Yeah.
So let's just say I was being honest to myself and being honest to my peers that I would go for vice presidency, not for presidency, because I could not give my that much percentage to something.
It's really good. That's actually really good, being honest to it, because you save a position for someone that can maybe, let's say, be available all the
Right.
time. And at the same time, you are maximizing your potential.
Exactly. I believe council is thriving right now. I mean, Adil is doing a great job there.
No doubts. No doubts. Definitely.
Let me ask you, why did you choose for VP position? Events, right?
I mean, I honestly, this might be a bit controversial, but I did not choose any position in the first place.
Okay.
So, like, I had no position to choose for. There was this. I still remember there was this day. 10 in the morning, I was sleeping. I got a call from a previous core member, Vishnu Bhaiya. He called me up asking that, and he knew that I did not apply, I did not interview for any core position. I told them that my council journey is done at the headship. Now I would like to be by myself and all. Then out of nowhere, I think 1 or 2 months later, he called me up and asked me like, would you want to go? Like, if given the chance, will you go into the core team? That moment I was quite skeptical, but then something in me just came out and said yes. I mean, why not? Freaking why not? I was like, yes, yeah, tell me, what do I need to do? And he's like, just hold on. So from there on forwards, 3 days later, I found out that yes, I'm in the core team at this position. So like initially I never got the chance to choose my position, and when the time came to choose, I went for events because I mean, both of us are from marketing and networking is a forte. So, I mean, it goes without saying that events is what we are best at.
Definitely. I believe it's. I don't want to break the rhythm of people who are, gonna be applying for the same. But core position is something where you actually learn to delegate tasks, not learn a new skill. And I believe delegation is a task. If you don't know how to get work done out of somebody, that means you cannot be a leader, right? अगर आप सारा काम खुद से ले लोगे, फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई हैव हर्ड ऑफ पीपल हु से कि यार मैं ना दूसरों पे भरोसा नहीं कर पाता हूँ कि ये बंदा काम कर पाएगा नहीं, तो सारा काम मैं खुद कर लेता हूँ. That is something I believe very vague. It's not, it won't help you in future. You should have trust on your peers, you should have trust on your teammates, and you should really know how to delegate tasks.
That is absolutely true. And this is not true for just core members, heads, coordinators. It is true for every single person that is in the council right now. Simply why? Because trust me, it's my 5th year in university, it's my last year, and in the last 5 years that I've seen is what I've observed is that people say that I don't trust other people to work. I trust myself. Even if we have a team, I'll take most of the work. So you can make it work right now, but it does not work like that. What works is that you trust your team, and that is the leadership skill you inculcate from council.
Right.
Because there's a very simple difference between a boss and a leader. A boss is a person who is, demanding things to be done. A leader is the one who takes the initiative and charges it up front. So that is what council teaches you. Imagine, I still remember back in my first year, I was one of those person who would never say yes to a group project. I remember I used to go to the presentation, like we used to have presentation in my course, and I used to go to my professors and like actually request them that please, let me stay alone. I don't want to be with anyone else because it just does not work out well for me. That is what council taught me, exactly what you said, that you learn to build that trust with the team, and you learn to give them the opportunity as the same as you are getting, and then you observe how good you are able to lead the team.
Right.
That is spot on. That is actually spot on.
Makes sense.
Like, since we talked so much about you, for the presidency, and then why you went for VP and all, but now it's, I think, almost to the end of the year, right? It's almost to the end of the year now. So in the last 1 year that you were the standing VP right now, what do you think were the benefits? Like, what are the benefits that you feel you enjoyed in the last 1 year as VP?
I believe there were a lot of changes when I got to be in the core team since Dhruv sir ideated this very good idea, I believe, that is the representation from all the departments or all the schools. That we have a core team in each department. Let's just say in each school. For example, School of Engineering have their own core team. School of Science have their own core team. So representation from each group. So that came out of thin air, but again, it was a very good idea, I believe. So that was one change for me. And speaking of how my year as a core member have been, I would say it has been pretty amazing because I got to see a lot of changes. Look at this new blog, dude. I mean, you feel me? I feel very sad leaving this university right now. There has been so many good changes. I see people going on internships to Singapore. I see this humongous this humongous fan for a Titan. You feel me? There have been a lot of changes. I mean, I say it's small, but again, there have been a lot of changes in university and I still want to be a part of it. But again, it's my last year, so let's just stick to what I have experienced. And we have a department heads now. So we have a team. We have an official admin team who works on the central level and they help with events. For example, if we are organizing Unifest, that is the biggest fest that we have, and be it any departmental event or any extracurricular or anything. So we have these three people, this team led by the events head and two of his peers. And these three dudes are crazy, way. They help a lot. They help a lot, and they are very solution oriented. No, I'll tell you how it is. For example, we had some complications in one of our event. ठीक है. अब उसमें क्या हुआ? There were a lot of problem. मतलब ऐसे कुछ तो नहीं हो रहा था. I cannot explain it in very detail. It's a long process. You get it, right? So we just got to meet him and he said कि I can help you with it. तो हमने उनको पूरा ऐसे explain किया कि क्या क्या चल रहा है ऐसे. And this person, he did not ask कि तुमने ये क्यों किया वो क्यों किया. He said कि solution बताओ कितने हैं इसके तुम्हारे पास. And I did not even think about the solutions. I was like, what a guy, man. What a guy. That is how people should be. Solution oriented, right?
Definitely.
If you have someone on your side who is solution oriented, is where you will thrive. Because they're not looking out for problems. They're not looking out for, blaming someone else. It is where you will get results. So I believe this change of council and coming of events department was two major canon episode that really made my journey as a councilman bigger and better. So yeah.
Like adding on to what you said, I have a question that just not only Humans of Galgotias asks, but every other club is wondering right now, the club head especially, that why do we have a mix of senior and junior in the present core team? Why like why is it so that there's this disparity, or what do you feel like is the reason? Why do you guys felt like this is the way to go for it, or was this something that was pushed by the administration?
I mean, it's quite ironical coming from you, dude. You see how corporate is, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why everybody in college is striving for jobs and why not going for business or something of their own. But let's just say jobs for now. Okay? When you're applying for a company, now this HR, let's just take for an example, this HR is 2 years older than you. And the manager who would be heading your team is a year younger than you. Would you be able to survive it without experience? You'll have clashes, right? You need experience from somewhere.
Yeah,
and I
true,
believe
true.
council is something that really gives you that experience from the initial, like from the college itself. So why not? If I have someone, I have my juniors who have led me, right? People who led me in some events and they were my juniors. They were 2 years younger, 1 year younger. They should be calling me so. But I believe it was quite an experience for me to calling them so because they were leading and they were good with it. So why not? It's an experience for you to the corporate. It's an entry for you to the corporate.
And just a shout out to Akarshit. That was one of just the person that you mentioned that he was younger than you, and you used to refer him as
Right.
So,
He was the club head back when I was the member or maybe the coordinator. I don't
So
know.
shout out to him for the same.
Of course.
But still, so I would say that that insinuates that this year what we are going for is that the students that are in the council, the heads, focusing on the club heads that were not maybe the core member, but the younger a student from second year might be in the core team, for example. Let's say I really don't know who are, but let's say if that is the case, so our motive is to get them corporate ready, right? Like
Right.
they are ready to face the world. That is what we're gonna stand for.
It's not just subjective to this one person. Let's just say this dude coming from second year is in the core team. Now, people who are in the third year or fourth year are the club heads or coordinators, let's just say, whoever, be it not be very specific word, whatever the guidelines are. But don't you think should they learn how to report to someone younger to them? It's a benefit for them.
Definitely, definitely.
It is where you really learn how to manage our ego, right? I get it. We are at a very younger age. We have ego clashes very often. So that is how you learn corporate experience. I believe it is a very good model.
Adding on to this, like this is a question coming from me because the club heads wanted me to ask this, so I did. But adding on to this, I would, I actually want to know. Let's say, how do you manage this conflict that there's a person that has the experience of student council for, I don't know, maybe from the initial first year, but then a person comes that does not have initial experience of it, but goes on to become a core member, and now comes a disparity. Like, how do you manage that feud as a core member? How do you manage that feud?
We'll come to managing later. I would say how I used to keep it when I was the club head of marketing after you. So for me, it was a balanced team, right? For example, there are four coordinators in a team, right? So two coordinators would be those who are the best of the best, right? Now two of them would be who are not the best. They have a few skills, but they're eager to learn. Okay. So how I am balancing it is two are saturated, two have the hunger to learn. Makes four of them. Now, if you have all the four who are saturated enough with their skills, what do they have to learn? Nothing. They would go into ego. They'll clash with themselves. Now, if you have someone who have the hunger to learn, right? Even if it is a first year, let's just not say second year. अगर कोई first year का grad भी है, and he have some skills, he really have some skills. He have leadership. He have everything. Let's just not consider his year. Let's just say he wants to learn something. Why not? Why not push him forward? Why not? He have that hunger. Now, comparatively, if you keep someone parallel to him, okay, who have an experience of 4 years, who have been in council, उसने सब कुछ देखा है, सब कुछ करा है. I believe, again, it's not an argument, it's an opinion. I can be wrong. I believe people who are saturated and do not have the hunger, people who are saturated can also learn. But people who do not have the hunger are not meant for position because that is where they'll always,
That is where the saturation reaches and stops.
you get it, right? What do you think about it?
And to somewhat, I feel the same, but at certain points, I beg to differ. Let's say maybe getting a first year into the core is something because it's sad for him as well. Maybe he has the hunger, but does he have that? He or she or they have that stability to lead a team that is full of seniors, handling their ego conflicts. Because at the same time, I feel like if a person that is from the first year or second year leading a team of the seniors, the ego conflict is gonna definitely bombard that person from the seniors that, bro, you can't tell us what to do. They might listen to him say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, but at the day's end, there's this point, they might actually think that, he's a junior after all, or she's a junior after all. So how does he deal with that? Is it like what sort of approach that person have or has towards that particular issue is something I feel like might be complicated for the core team to handle.
Makes sense.
Because now you're gonna have problems from two ends. There's this junior that you got promoted before he should have or she should have, but he has like that person has the potential. But now at the same time, you are also showing the other people that, yeah, if you had the talent, you would have been here. Which actually defeats the purpose of student council because student council is meant to build talent. So what we see is, if we see there's this spark, we ignite it. So now, rather than seeing the spark, we are focusing on the fire. That if you have fire, come along to the position. You're not igniting it anymore. The spark is something.
See, you just change my perspective. That is what I'm saying. It's an opinion. It's not an argument. Again, but I was taking ideal situation, right, where I don't see ego coming from the same parties.
Yeah.
Right? So if somebody has a hunger to something, I would really give a push to that individual.
Yeah.
That is what I believe. Again, you change my opinion. I totally agree to what you said. So,
But no, like, this is something I would love to have conversation with you now. Moving on to the second, let's say, second installment of our conversation is, we know why you became VP, why you went for VP, and like what happened throughout the core journey for you. I would love to know, like, basically like, again, before I mention it, I can resonate with you on this personally. So I have ample of juniors complaining me that the management sucks, the budget does not get passed, the dates get pushed back and forth, what to do? So I mean, let's say the budgeting issue. How do you deal with these issues, the logistical issues that you face for any events? And only God knows how much do we face for each and every single event. I mean, I don't even want to go there myself.
I mean, you have been there, so yeah.
Yeah.
But see, like I said, there has been some changes this year, right? So now that we have the events department, they are handling all of it, and they are thriving. They are really doing good with it, and I feel very helped at this moment from the events department because again, solution oriented. If, for example, it's a university, right, and there are multiple clubs, now there are clubs department wise, now there are events department wise from the faculties as well, there are events from the admin as well. There are so many things going so much parallel, right, so many things happening simultaneously. So there would be issue of space, obviously, ki venue nahi mil raha. These are the common issues that we face, right?
Definitely.
So if you have someone dedicated who would look after it, like I said, the events department, so they are really helping and they are really giving solutions out of it. If you ask me about when students come up with budgets for their events, how we deal with it is, see, they are not perfect. Not, I wouldn't say perfect is not the right word. I would say even they are not experienced how to put
The
budgets.
learning ones.
Yeah, even they are learning. I cannot point fingers at them. But again, budgets are something that are really crucial because it's a money perspective, it's monetary, right? So it takes time because we need to refine it. You cannot just come up with a 30,000 budget and just ask me to sign it and we'll sign it. It doesn't go. Even we don't sign it. It has to be someone from the admin or Dhruv sir himself, right? But again, to even present it to them or to present it to Dhruv sir, we need to refine it. And it takes time. That is how they feel कि हमारा जो pass किया वो pass नहीं हो रहा. They think they did it perfectly because they put their hard work in it. And I understand it. I completely acknowledge it. But again, speaking of experience or on a bigger picture, let's just consider it's a bigger picture. Let's just imagine it. There could be some changes and they should differ while you present it to someone who is actually signing it and it is coming from their pocket. So,
Absolutely. No, that was actually true what you said just now. But like, I have another thing in my head that I always wanted to ask to the present core member in the student council right now is that now that you're in the core team, there's this one memory or one particular incident that impacted you in a manner that you'll never forget it. Be it good memory, be it bad memory, or maybe traumatic. Let's hope it's not, but if it is, like, what's that one memory that triggers any part of your brain if you look back to the core membership?
all right, if I had to think of it, I would say there are two instances. I cannot put them as a one after the other. There are two parallel incidents. I will tell both of them. So one being the prom night that I organized from the marketing team, and since Ritik was not available at that point of time, so I was handling pretty much all of it. And it feels easy एक event organize कराना. It sounds easy कि एक event ही तो है. बस इनको बोलना है, venue लेना है, organize हो जाएगा. It is not. It is not. it takes a lot. It takes a lot of input. It takes a lot of hard work, not just from me as a head, as an individual, but from the team as well. It was one of the canon episode, I would say, that really changed me, because that was the point where I acknowledged कि events कराना आसान नहीं होता, and people who actually pull it off are the goated ones, because pulling off any successful event is difficult.
Definitely.
Prom night was a success. That is what I believe. I hope you were there.
Yeah, I mean, prom night was definitely also one of the most amazing memories I have.
Yeah, it gives a Western culture to the university, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I still, if I'm not wrong, I do remember that what you just mentioned right now, that people saw that marketing is organizing prom, and yeah, the venue is sorted, they're good to go. But I still do remember that you were quite stressed out, like during your tenure as a head, when you were organizing prom, and your venue was not still locked when the when the event was about to be started, and let's say 3 or 4 hours, I don't remember.
So there are a lot of
So it's that particular prom that you're.
yes, the one I organized. So I'll give you a small example. For example, this dude that I called for lighting, ठीक है, जो हमने बाहर से एक vendor बुलाया था जो lighting provide कर रहा था हमें. Now his timing and the timing of someone from the university who caters the electricity वाला part has to be the same. ठीक है, कि वो अपनी lights वगैरह लेकर के आए, and the one who is providing the voltage has to be there on the same time. Now it's quite difficult to manage. आप उनको बोल रहे हो कि भैया बस आधा घंटा, और इधर बोल रहे हो भैया बस आधा घंटा, and it's difficult. It requires people skill, it requires management, it requires manipulation, not the right word, but hard. So, and the second one I would say was Unifest, dude. I mean, being a head while Unifest is happening is hectic, but being a core member when Unifest is actually getting on, I would say, why it is insane. It is insane because it's not just the president who have his collars in somebody's hand. It is all of you people. You're handling everything and anything, dealing from the vendors to the stage management to the production to the artist. I mean, it is also a benefit for us because I believe that Dhruv sir actually allow us to be close to everybody so that we can have experience. We are so close to the production just because he allows us to, कि we can coordinate with them. Otherwise, हमारी वहाँ पे कोई जरूरत भी नहीं है.
It's this sheer networking that he, facilitates.
Exactly, that is the big thing, and I believe it is an experience. Yet again, it is very hectic. But again, if it gives experience, it gives me knowledge. I'm up for it. But one of the again canon episode.
I mean, it's in a very general sense, I'm just saying that anyone that is planning to go for the core, when you organize Unifest, it's batshit crazy. It's batshit crazy.
It is indeed.
So, I mean, I can actually, totally resonate with you because I'm gonna be very honest. Like when I was in the core, I used to work as much as it's required because our president was more than hardworking. He used to work for every one of us, so I used to take advantage of that and I used to chill. That's cool. That's cool. But during Unifest, when I was working, I still remember those 2 days. I had the full option to stay inside the backstage and chill and meet the artist and whatnot. But none of the core team member got the chance to, actually enjoy Unifest because all of us were working our asses off.
Right.
So I mean, I truly get what you're trying to say because even when I came to the Unifest that you guys organized, it was hardly once in a blue moon that I was able to see you throughout the day when the event was going on. So
also, I would like to add on. I mean, when you actually be a part of an organizing team, like I said, if you are in a core team and you're organizing Unifest, you are not even close to happy to be inside the barricades because you have organized it. It's like a तुम्हारी बेटी की शादी and it is happening, so you're happy about it. You're just happy about it. It's happening.
that's definitely
Right.
one way to put it.
You don't want to be a part of it. You don't want to be close to the mandap, but since it is happening, you're just happy you pulled it off. So that is how it was for me, I would say.
But before we end this whole conversation about council, I have 2 small questions for you. The one being major, like I don't want to know the answer of this because I can resonate with you again, whatever you're gonna answer. But the HOG club wants to know it, and all the other club and the club heads wants to know it. why does it happen that when they lock a date, it gets postponed and then it again gets postponed and the management, becomes an issue for them? I know the answer. You don't have to, I mean, I do get
I
it,
get it, but I'll answer for them, of course, if they want to hear it.
it's for the team.
So it's like when you're organizing any event, be it any event, it's not just about Unifest, let's just say any event. There are a lot of variables, I would say. Okay. It's an artist or a guest, then it's the preposition party, then it is the availability of all the stakeholders. There are a lot of things that goes in, right? So if you say कि Tuesday को हम ये रखवा रहे हैं and you just call it कि 12 तारीख को ये event organize कराना है, that is not possible. That is not possible until unless you have all the stakeholders on that dialect. That is not possible.
Definitely.
So it happens sometimes that because by look at it, if it is a big event, we really want Dhruv sir to be there again because he is our pioneer, right? He is the visionary. He put it in motion. He put it the council in motion. So we want him to be there again because he's a busy guy, of course. If he's not available, we don't have any option. We have to postpone it again. And it's not just about council. It is again about all the stakeholders. Even if the artist is not available on some dates, does not matter if we can make it happen or not. It completely goes around if the artist is available or not. So a lot of constraints, lot of variables that we have to go around.
Definitely. I mean, I totally agree with you. And adding on to what he said, guys, like I still remember, like, let's say in your tenure, Praram did not happen. Praram did not take place as far as I remember.
I'm not sure. Maybe I was a part of a next year wala Praram, not my first year wala Praram.
This year, Praram did not happen.
No, it didn't.
And last year, like for what happened, what happened with you guys for Praram is what happened for us in the core team for Jashn Diwali. So I mean, I really get, and I would like, I would really like to add on to what you said that there are days when you have locked the dates, everything is in the motion, the ball is rolling, and then you just find out that Dhruv sir is not available, or your chief guest or the artist that you're calling is not available. And now it's not easy for you to tell the whole team that the event stands cancelled because now there's a team of 300, 400 students, working along with you that you need to inform. So I mean, I feel like this is something that the juniors can understand that it's never in our hand to cancel something.
Also, I believe it is not. It's not a fixated idea that somebody has to be there, but I believe it is when you come in the core team, you really want someone who is leading you to be there, right?
Definitely.
I mean, Dhruv sir does not have to be everywhere.
Yeah.
He's one individual. He cannot be everywhere. But again, you really wish him to be there because you organize it. You really want him to see it. That we pulled it off. So that what's happened. That is what it takes, guys. It really takes a lot of planning, a lot of constraint, a lot of variables to come in motion altogether. So,
And even after that, just one fine day, it can get cancelled not because of us, but because generally it does not align with the administration at times.
Makes sense.
So now that being said, I have this whole segment. So this segment stands as the dark side of the student council. So now we delve into the deeper shit. That is where we talk about the real stuff. So like I would like to, let's say, start with this, that I don't know, rumors have been going around that the coming tenure for the core team is gonna consist of 9 core members. Is it something that is gonna happen, or let's say I've heard that each department has club heads and the ones that are gonna come from them. Is it something that is gonna happen 9 core members?
I mean, there is nothing that is fixated as of now. We are still waiting for Dhruv sir's direction for the same. But I believe what he initiated last year, that was representation from each department. And I believe it's a tremendous idea. It's a terrific idea to have representation from all the departments. So we'll have one president from each department that will be working on the central level.
Like I have 2 questions on the same. Firstly, like your tenure as a core member, I would say was one of the most, I don't know, the one with the most up and down, because you guys started as a single core team from the club heads that were there in the student council. Then whole lot of shit changed. They were, core members from different departments and whatnot, and then you had to form the team from the scratch and resonate with them. Maybe you did, maybe you did not. But how did you manage that part in your, tenure, where all of a sudden one day you woke up and you realized that now we have a completely new core team, not a council team, but a core team that you're gonna work with? How did you?
I believe it was more like an experience for me, dude. It was like I was thrown a challenge, and they wanted to see if if you can pull it off or not. So I took it that way. It was not like my friends are not in the core team or someone I know is not in the core team, so I won't be able to function. I tried to bridge a relation, and eventually it worked out for all of us. I believe it worked out finessely. So,
So now there's this another thing now. How what sort of approach do we have? So the old traditional way of student council electing core members was the heads from the student council are gonna go on to become the core members. But now we have each individual department having their own team. I won't say a student council, but their own organizational team, which have their own heads as well, and the heads are gonna go on to become the core member. So, like, how do we feel like, where is the student council, the central student council standing on it that now each department has their own organizational team? So, do you feel like student council is being undermined or threatened in any sense, or is it just the way it was?
I'll answer you with what I'm going to correct you with. So the council team on the departmental level is also student council only. People who are in student council are the part of departmental councils. For example, I belong from School of Computer Science and Engineering, right? I am leading as a president. Now I'm from BTech department. Does not mean I'm not the part of council. I'm still the part of council, just in the department, also serving at the central level. Now, on the central level, when I say central level, means all the clubs that have a collaboration of different departments all together. There are people from all the departments coming together and forming a club, right? Now, there are different clubs. They are working on the central level. Agar aap as a student of, let's just say, Department of Science, asked to do an event, ठीक है, and now you need help from the council since you belong from the council, so the central level पे जो teams work कर रही हैं, they'll help you out with your departmental work.
No, yeah.
Earlier what used to happen was कि department जो events organize करा रहा था उसमें council का इतना involvement नहीं हो पाता था. Even if they used to ask for it, तब भी हम लोगों तक शायद किसी किसी क्लब तक कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन ही नहीं डिलीवर हो पाती थी क्योंकि वहां से कोई रिप्रेजेंटेशन नहीं था. नाउ दैट वी हैव रिप्रेजेंटेशन फ्रॉम ऑल द डिपार्टमेंट्स, इट इज वेरी फिजिबल फॉर द डिपार्टमेंट एंड for the council as well to collaborate and also to participate in each and every department.
So it's more like to inculcate the habit of collaboration and networking between the departments, yeah?
It was never a competition, it was always a collaboration, dude.
This is something I really love because I've seen this cold war waging between departments and council as to who's gonna grow more. It does not have to be like that, definitely.
It's a thick air of dust, I would say. It does not mean anything.
But adding on to what you just said, again, this is a question that couple of club heads wanted to ask you. That not because you are from the core, but because you are from the CS department is why they wanted to ask you that most of the major departments that are there right now, they have already formed their own organizational, I would say, a mini council, let's say. Let's call it a mini council. Engineering department is still lacking it. So like from what I've been told that they don't have it right now. Why so what is the reason that is stopping them?
All right, so I would say what you are saying is
I mean, sorry to cut you off, but is it because the best member have gone into the core team right now from the CS, or like what is it?
Absolutely not, so absolutely not. I would say ki again, I'll correct you on this. They are also the council only. From each department, there are council. They have formed their own clubs in their own department. Now, when we were planning for it, since School of Engineering is quite big, we have so many domains. For example, AI, be it data, be it anything. There are so many departments. Now, it was already 6 months that we were over with. Now, for अगर मैं सिर्फ 6 महीने के लिए कुछ क्लब्स बना के और किसी को पोजीशंस दे दूं, it would go in vain, right? So what we were ideating as engineering department was कि हम लोग अपने clubs ideate कर चुके हैं. We have the whole presentation. हम लोग अभी onboarding start नहीं कर रहे हैं. We are not recruiting as of now. We'll recruit the next year because we want people to have the understanding how the council works. Now, अगर मैं जल्दी जल्दी में सब लोगों को रिक्रूट कर लेता हूँ, सारे क्लब्स बना दो, सारी चीजें बना देता हूँ, on the surface level, it looks absolutely amazing कि इंजीनियरिंग डिपार्टमेंट के इतने सारे क्लब्स हैं, ये सब हो गया, ये सब अच्छा है. But for me, I want to give an experience to people who are coming under me. So I want them to take their time and understand how we are functioning as of now because they are new to it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we are initiating new projects, new clubs. So we have ideated clubs, we have circulated them, we have presented the whole idea of it, and now people are applying for it, but we are not recruiting. Like I said, we are not recruiting as of now. We'll recruit after my term is over and the new people take over my position. That is when we'll start forming the engineering department because it's quite big. I wanted to take time. I mean, again, it's an opinion. I can be wrong, but again, it was my idea to give some time to the department. That is all.
Guys, and with this, we actually come to the end of the normal student council stuff. And now we finally move into the dark side of the student council. So every question that starts from here is going to get a bit more controversial, one after the other, one after the other. So let's dig into it. For the first few questions that I have right now are the ones that I received from the different club heads and whatnot. So the first that even I was wondering, like, what do you feel is the reason that in the last few months, like I genuinely just follow student council page and I've been actively seeing the Club of the Month award that goes. Like, what is the reason do you think? And this is a chain that has been going on for so long that the ones that win the Club of the Month award are the ones that are on field clubs. In the last few months, the only time that I saw any other club popped up was from the literature dynamic. That was the Lingo Freaks. But apart from that, I've seen marketing, GMT, and all of them, are mostly on field clubs. So now there are two ways to go for it. First is either there's politics or either there's a stigma that because they are working on the field in the summer, in the heat, in the scorching heat, that is why they're winning. Or either there is this political stuff that goes behind it. So what do you think is the reason it's only on field clubs going on to win this for almost last 2 years now? Since the concept came, I have seen just once or twice any other club winning it.
I believe I won't contradict this question while saying that people don't hard work so they don't get it. But I would really like to push this idea that people from different clubs should really be ideating new things. That is what I believe. Okay. Now that this question that you have put up, कि सिर्फ on field clubs को chance मिलता है club of the month मिलने का, that is because these people just don't work hard for the university events or just for the club events. These guys are performing outside university as well. Now take an example of Scintillations. This is our fashion club, right? Name any college who organizes a fashion event in Delhi NCR, and these guys have not won it. You name it.
Definitely. No.
Do they not deserve it? They
Definitely.
do, right? Now, for the clubs who feel that they are not being acknowledged, I would say कि absolutely they are working hard. I really acknowledge all their efforts, but why not ideate something new that you catch someone's eye, right? You guys really go off the board. You really take a swim out of the boat, and you really you make it seen. You make it something worthwhile for someone to acknowledge it. So that is, I believe. For example, if you ask about Lingo, how Lingo was one of the exceptions that got to be month of the Club of the Month. That was because Lingo really went out of their way. They organized multiple events. They won multiple awards out of university, and that is something two of the criteria that we have for Club of the Month. So it's not like we have preferences for clubs, but we do have a criteria for them to be the Club of the Month. Now, if you stand on those criteria, you get to be the Club of the Month. It is that simple.
So, do you still feel like this might be a problem? Let's say that HOG, Lingo Freaks, or any other literature club or any other club, as a matter of fact, apart from the on-field, they go on to organize, let's say, 4 events. Now, for example, let's take Lingo Freaks and HOG. Both of these clubs organize 4 events in a month, 2 each. So now these clubs organize two events. They showed that their potential, coming up with the new ideas twice in a month. But now at the same time, let's say any on-field club, that club has to stay present in all four of the events. Two of HOG, two of the Lingo Freaks. So now they got more recognition. Why? Because they had four events to be part of, because it's their work. But at the same time, a club that is coming up with the creative part of it came up with the two new events. They were not able to, maybe, let's say, represent themselves in that sense.
Fair enough. Take me back to when you said these two clubs organized events and the other two on-field clubs were actually present on the day of the event. These two clubs who are from the on-field team are actually performing their JD.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, these two clubs who organized the event really went out of their way and organized and gave an experience to someone. I would prefer these two clubs who gave an experience to someone.
That is
On-field team have their JD to do. Now, if these people go out of their way and do something exceptional, they would be my first preference.
exactly. So adding on to what you just said right now, this is what the JD is.
Right.
So, like, if let's say any on-field club is winning any sort of award, club of the month or whatnot, if what is it that they are doing out of the box or coming up with something new that is out of their JD?
Fair enough. For example, let's just take a marketing team. Okay, the one from I come from, marketing team never won club of the month. It was this year. Okay, so how did it go? Because in the last month, I get it. I get the emotion, dude. So it happened because at that for that month there were multiple events. Now these marketing people were promoting their events as well. They were curating their own event, also held a workshop for their students. Okay. So now there are three perspectives that they stood upon. They gave an experience to their own members, they curated the idea, they promoted other clubs, and they did something of their own.
Definitely. So now, since it's the dark side of council, coming to the more controversial part, what are the reasons that you feel like the on-field clubs that won just now in the recently last 2 months, what was the out of the box thing that they did?
Like I said, three criteria that you stand upon. For example, like I said, Lingo one, right?
Lingo being a literature club, let's say we take it out of the picture.
All right.
If I'm not, was it SMT? I'm really not aware, but
Works. SMT.
I
Let's
think
just
it was
take an example.
SMT that won.
I'm fine with any club. I can explain it.
I mean, we're pretty sure we're fine with any club, but has that club won?
No. Even if it has not, I can explain if they stood for the same. The eligibility would be again. For example, if it is SMT club, right? What they do is they manage the stage. They put all the mics and everything, all the setup, and these dudes are not present for one event. There are multiple events happening around the university. There could be 4 events in a day. Now, it does not matter unki strength kitni hai unki club ki, but they are always present at this point.
And the one that goes out of the JD as well.
And the one that goes out of their JDS.
Yeah,
That
makes
is how you
sense.
stood out, right? For
Exactly.
example, if I take example of HOG, right? Now, these people, if they start taking podcasts, not just because they want to present it as a club, but because they want an experience for the students out of this club, again, out of their JD, that is when I'll really acknowledge their hard work. Because they are doing something they were not supposed to, but they ideated it out of the job description.
Okay, like getting more into HOG, because these guys are the ones that got us here together right now.
Yes.
So shout out to HOG for that, firstly. But what do you feel like as a present core member who is about to end his tenure? What do you feel is the reason that might be stopping HOG to go on to become Club of the Month right now? What are the few things that they can work on and come up with to actually go on and win one Club of the Month award in the coming few months, maybe?
All right, it's a very personal suggestion. I would say it's not something very concentric to. I would go very general with, but rather than going for podcast straight away, I would say give an idea or teach your team first what they're going for, what they're applying for, what they're standing for. For example, I'm a BTech grad. Okay, when I was in my 12th class and I wanted to apply for BTech, I should have known I'm applying for computer science and I know how to work with computer. I should know how a keyboard works, right? When you're going for HOG or going for a podcast, you should know what a podcast means. What is the idea of it? What should be the end result of it? Right?
Definitely.
Work around it and then go for it. It's like a circle with the radius. You start from the center, you know all about the circumference, and then you draw a line to the circumference. So you learn about it first, and then you draw the radius. So
So
yeah,
now HOG knows how they're gonna bag their first Club of the Month award of the coming year. And that being said, now going deeper into the controversies that happens in the council is the politics. Like, I mean, to say that it does not happen would be a lie, even coming from my end. So I would say, definitely politics happens, but without naming any name, how do you not succumb to the pressure coming from the previous core members, let's say, or previous members, the senior members, to the decision that you are about to make? Hypothetically, let's say that you are about to revoke someone's, headship, or maybe just start a new club, or dissolve an old club. Then someone from the previous core teams, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, no matter what, goes on to call you and say that this is not supposed to happen. This is something that is not bound. It does not work that way. But this is the way you want to take your team because it's your team now. You are in the core. So how do you manage that contradiction when it comes?
I believe there is no politics in council. I mean, it's my perspective since I have been in council for 4 years now. It's a very good Chinese model. I would say you work hard, you get your position. It is that simple. But like you said, if we are putting some decision in motion and somebody from the X team suggests, again, it's not an order from them. It is just a suggestion. Ki maybe they want someone to be there. More, we take it as a suggestion only. But I believe they are not in our shoes and they really don't know what the current scenario and what the current gullies are. So we take that in consideration. But again, if it's a decision by the five of us from the core team, it is a decision by default. It has to be passed. If either of one says no to it, we'll discuss it, we'll figure it out, and we'll come to one conclusion. There is never a decision in core team that goes out without considering all the members of the core team.
But I would like to beg to differ on this, that there's no politics. I mean, for me personally, when I was in the core team, I have literally seen the politics happening all around me. And ever since the first year, I've actually seen, and I feel like even you must have seen how people are progressing. So when we say that a person who is working is going to be on the position, at the same time in my tenure, I have seen the previous core members pressured couple of our core members to remove someone solely because of personal reason. And again, and this year I've also seen that couple of people, very controversial shit guys, but I've seen couple of members being removed solely for some personal reason that might have not affected that much, that might have not reflected that much into their work, coming from the previous core team members pressure. Ironically, I'm one of them from the previous core team, but that is something I have actually seen and observed.
It could be a perspective, dude. I mean, I won't say no to your perspective, but I beg to differ, just like you.
Definitely.
Ki, again, it is incompetent of you if you take suggestion and take it as an order and pull a ordeal over it. I believe if someone from the exco team, considering you, take it, you say ki this person should not get the position. I'll take it as a suggestion, but I won't take it as an order, right? It would be incompetent of me to take it as an order because it would say कि मेरे में शायद इतनी capability नहीं है या फिर इतनी caliber नहीं है कि मैं उस चीज को देख पाऊँ.
Definitely.
Right. So it is an individualistic approach, I would say. It's not something कि politics exists in council, but it's a perspective that people look to it.
But don't you feel like this that for me, like being very uncandid about it, I have seen throughout my journey in council, from the very first year to the end of the council journey, that I have seen people representing certain clubs that they should not at the first place solely because they were close to someone. And I have seen some people suffering. They gave it all to the council, yet they're not there in the council anymore. And this is not pertaining to your tenure. This is not as a core member. What do you feel like as a council member in the overall journey? Don't you feel like that there was this bit of indiscrepancy and discrimination that took place in the last 4 years of your journey? Because if someone asks me, I have seen some, I have ample of names, but
Fair enough. I have a totally different perspective over it. I would say, for example, there is this one individual who has been working hard, and at the end of the day, he did not get any position. Okay. Now, like you said, people will look into it as कि यार इसने इतनी मेहनत की, but इसको position नहीं मिली. Maybe some political blunder going around. But let's just say this person did something in an interview that is very constrained to two people, the interviewee and the interviewer, right? You don't know about it, but it happened in an interview. And now because people don't know about this one subjective interaction, they figure it out as a political dilemma कि it happened because ki some politics.
this
Again, it's
general
a,
persona.
it's a perspective, I would say. Again, honestly, dude, matlab, no matter, I really beg to differ on this. No matter how much anybody emphasizes on this, I would say council does not have politics. I believe it is much of a perspective how you look into things.
Definitely. But so to sum it up, in a yes or no, maybe. So all in all, you're saying from the bottom to the top. Not even in the bottom, there's no politics at all in the council, is what we're gonna go for? Or
I never have a sharp opinion because a sharp opinion is an argument.
but then that would be a gray zone. If you don't go for a yes or no, that leaves you in the gray zone.
I believe as of now, what I see is कि as people who are working don't really have a political approach because no matter how hard they try, it is not going to take them anywhere. It's not going to take them anywhere. It is always going to be the hard work, at least in my term, at least in our term as of core members. Because politics, again, it's a Chinese model. You work hard, you get a position. It is that simple. There has to be no politics. It is just a personal agenda, I would say,
But-
they are succumbing to.
So coming to the Chinese politics, there's also one more thing. The more loyal you are to the system, the higher are the chances you go up in the position. So is it something on that note as well?
Well,
Because if you do notice the pattern in the last 4 or 5 years, a person that opposes the core is not the one who goes on to be in the core or goes on to become the head or even the coordinator. So do you feel like, not again in just your tenure, maybe in my or in the couple of the whole tenure that we have observed and seen, do you feel like the council in general does not take constructive criticism as a very positive note? Or the core members of every year, do you feel like this is might be one of an issue?
let's just say you're not sure about people who are giving this criticism are constructive enough. Let me rephrase it. जो लोग criticize कर रहे हैं, are they putting it nicely enough that they are not, contradicting their own position in the council? For example, if I take it this way, I'm a head of a team, ठीक है, and I'm contradicting the ethics of core itself, then it's not constructive. I'm not giving suggestion. I am just thrashing them out of my personal belief.
Makes sense, yes.
Right. So if it is constructive, it has to be something that you want to see changing. Right? If I want to see something change in core, I'll give suggestion. If it is not taken, I'll say कि core does not take constructive criticism. If I say कि I'll row it against the council, I'll row it against the college, I'll do this and that. That is not constructive criticism. It is just blunder that you are pushing, and I don't think anybody will,
And what do you feel of all the controversies that happened this year? For example, the selection of the heads, there were multiple, let's say, amongst the core member or amongst the club heads or amongst the whole council on the agreement of who's going to be the club head or who's not going to be the club head in the coming tenure. So what do you feel like, what went right or what went wrong during the selection when you guys got complaints that this member should not be the coordinator or club head, and yet they went on to become, or they did not went on to become one?
going it right or not could be subjective, because I believe since there were so many changes in this tenure itself, core ke ki departmental core aa gayi. Then we had the departmental heads, we have the events head. There were a lot of changes. Now it takes time to grow, right? You need to start from the ground. You need to start to root it before you have a trunk of a tree, right? You need to root it first. You need to go. You need to go deep in the roots. So I believe it took us a time. It maybe there were some right decisions, maybe there were some wrong decisions, but I believe in the initial years, council would be thriving. I believe in the perspective of future terms. If it is establishing good in the future sakes, the roots are strong. Even if those were the weaker roots, they are still the roots. They're giving a strong hold to the tree.
That's actually really good. So now, just one last thing that I would like to ask you about this particular topic in general is, once you are done as the core member, your tenure has concluded, and you moved on to the next phase of your life, would there be any part of you that would like to stay invested or be interested in what is going on in the next core team? Or let's say, would you like to come back and maybe have that bit of a control as to what things are going? Maybe they're not going the way that you would have wanted them to, but they are going one way or the other. So would you like to be part of it after you are done, or would you like to just say done and dusted? Like, say, let's say Virat Kohli, he left the test match, he left it for good, he does not care what is happening. So would you be one of those person who leaves it for good, or would you like to still like, let's say, come and go at times?
I would say I would be someone more of an alumni. I have been there. I'm a part of it. But when I'm leaving, I'll see you after 5 to 10 years. I'll come and greet you people and see how much you have grown. I would not like to take the control, but I would see with what the control they have how much they have grown with it. I would like to congratulate them on the same, but never want to hold a control for, even after I leave. Does not make sense, dude.
Definitely, definitely. Once you go for good. That is how you maintain your persona as well. So, just one last onto the dark side of student council. I just have one question, and I'm sure this is something that I was meaning to ask my seniors since first year, and you must have been asking us for the for all eternity, as long as I know.
Should I be scared?
The attendance, sir. What is the issue? What comes up? Because this year, the controversial part is that what I have been told, with naming the names, also not removing the names. I have been told the president told everyone that the attendance should be provided, and at the last moment, the president was nowhere to be seen. And along with that, couple of the core members were also not around to help out when the exams were supposed to take place. So, like, how does it go? Is it this that the false promises are going around of getting the attendance, or is it because the students are taking their classes for granted?
There are two ways to look at this. Okay. Now that I have everybody's attention, suddenly all the conversations are stopped. So it goes like, if you are in student council and you're working, right? First of all, you need to set your priorities right.
Definitely,
If your priorities is not your studies, that means you're not a student anymore of the university, and you shall not belong to the council as well. That should be a priority. That means at least we can expect you have 50 or 60% attendance at minimum.
definitely,
At least,
definitely.
right? Even if so, just look at the second perspective. All right. Now these people who are working day and night, let's just say कि everybody, let's say someone from the on field, जिनका daily almost काम आ जाता है. Are these people here to work in the council only? Again, do they not have a priority? Do they not have a priority to their studies or their course?
Definitely, definitely.
What they can do is they have a strength of 100 people in a club. For example, let's just say 100 people in a club. Agar 50 people switch alternative days according to their timetable, will there be any issue for the attendance?
I mean, so this is definitely one part where I agree with you. That, as I said, this is the later half. This is the latter part of the question. What I asked you, that are the students taking it for granted? So of course, what you mentioned, of course, couple of students might be doing it, taking it for granted. But if you look into it, let's say take BB or BCom for example, right now in the second year, if they miss a class, they lose 3% of their attendance. But if they go for it, they just gain 1%. So a person maybe who is trying to balance the council life and the academic part along with it is working really good, but at the very last moment, the president or the vice president goes on to call them. Let's say that they say that you come here, I'm guaranteeing you your attendance and you're sorted. That would be the last, and let's say that was the last class they could have attended. Now they went believing that yes, the president is with us or the vice president is with us, and they'll get the attendance. They lost out of 75, they lost 3%. Now they're at 72. Had they attended that class, it would have been 76, just one more person than they require, hypothetically. But now the president promised them that they'll get the attendance, and now the president is not picking up the call on the day of the exam. So, what do you feel like? Like, let's say, if do you feel like there's this lack of communication or lack of ownership? Because if the person that is supposed to, provide them with the attendance is not able to, they could have apologized and said that maybe let's try to figure it out the next time, but they're nowhere to be seen. If let's say
You are asking it very subjectively. I'll tell you how. For example, there is this club, let's just say XYZ. ठीक है. Now there are 50 people in that club. ठीक है. अगर उसमें से 25 students are from BBA, from the business wala department that you are saying कि इनकी attendance decreased by 3% and increased by 1%. They have their classes 4 days a week. बाकी के 2 days या 3 days a week they can work, right? बट अगेन सिर्फ अगर बीबीए के स्टूडेंट्स ही काम कर रहे हैं क्लब में, दैट मींस इट इज अ इनसफिशिएंसी और इनकॉम्पिटेंसी ऑफ द क्लब हेड कि वो दूसरों को इतना इनेबल नहीं कर पाया कि दूसरे बीबीए के अलावा कोई स्टूडेंट्स काम कर पाए उस क्लब में.
but still the main answer that left that is looming right now is, what is the solution for that kid who was promised to get attendance, but the president is not picking up the call, or the any other core member is not picking up the call, or they are being left unanswered or being ghosted for multiple days, in which from what I know right now, not gonna lie, this happened in my tenure as well. But like, what do you feel like is the solution for them in that case?
Solution was given already. That was कि the day you attend the event is the day your club head should send the attendance to the core team. That is how it should go like. Now, when they don't send the attendance and it has to go at the end of the year or at the end of the sem when the exams are about to happen. Now, when management comes to us and asks कि these more than 100 or more than 500 or more than 1,000 people, what were these people, what were these students doing throughout their semester? अगर 1,000 बच्चे क्लास ही अटेंड नहीं कर रहे हैं, who am I to answer, sir? ये तो does not make sense. Now this guy who was promised did not take class for 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe for 5 days, right? That could be justified. This person was attending, like I said, minimum if you have 60% criteria, by any case, if you have the minimum attendance criteria of 50%, you have scored it. There is no way that council would deny your attendance. There is no way.
Definitely.
Even if you bypass us and go to the management, they'll help you with a smiling face. They'll help you with a smiling face कि हाँ आपने 5 दिन अपने काउंसिल को दिए. We are very happy कि आपने अपना स्टडीज भी बहुत अच्छे से मैनेज किया, आपने अपना कोर भी बहुत अच्छे से मैनेज किया.
So all in all, the message that comes out of this whole conversation is that the heads needs to be more transparent with the list and be more punctual regarding the same, that they share it on time so that it can be sorted.
Also, the working individuals should also prioritize their studies as well. That is what I believe.
So that being said, guys, which absolutely even I stand by, that when you become a part of council does not mean that you're getting 100% attendance. It just means that it is part of your curriculum activities. So if you prioritize them over academics, that is not on the council or the core team, that is on you.
Tell me, as an individual, since we were both there, ठीक है? Remember the time we went for India Today conclave to Bombay?
Yes, sir.
How is it for you?
To put it in one single term, it was mesmerizing. Like from the bottom to the top, everything was spot on. I still remember we went to Dhruv sir's office and how casually he told us that we have booked a room for you and the flights are sorted, you guys just need to be there. And the way we went and the way we came back, oh god, I mean,
It was insane.
And all the guest speakers, bro, and how humble Raj sir was to us, like, seeing the personal side of from his end was something I never expected. Couple of incidents that we can't mention right now, but you do know how humble he was.
Totally.
So, if not in just one particular sense, but if I look at all the happy memories I have from university or council, it is actually one of the best moments that I've had in university, the best.
Absolutely. I would say, I don't know people if they know about it or not, but Dhruv sir is very approachable. I mean, I don't know. It has to be difficult. I mean, look at it. If I were the CEO of some company, I would be very unapproachable, dude. I would not talk to people. But he is very, very humble. He's very approachable, and he answers everyone. You text him a problem, and he'll come up with it. Come meet me. I'll sort this out for you.
I do remember it was some MUN or ISEC thingy, and or maybe under 25. I don't even remember. This was back when I was in my second year or third year, and it was the first time I was going to talk to Dhruv sir, like by myself all alone, and I was like, oh God, like what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to pitch to him? That guy just said, "Hey Devansh," so casually after asking my name. I was like, "Oh, it's just a normal, decent conversation from here on forwards." Now when I look back, like I don't know, like why there's this stigma that he's unapproachable and he's gonna bite you. He is the single-handedly most amazing person. If you want something in the university, you never know. Just go and pitch it to him, and after 2-3 days, you might actually see it happening in the university.
True that. I can vouch for it, dude. I mean, Bombay was a canon episode. I would say.
Definitely. For your college journey, there's this one question. Like we have grown simultaneously. We have seen each other being part of the council, being in the university. So I remember there's this particular, bio that you used to have. So I would love to, just take that, jogging down the memory lane is something. What do you feel from being the president of Dead Liver Society to go on to become the vice president of event affairs? What do you feel was the journey?
It was quite some journey, dude. President the Dead Liver Society was quite amazing for me. I mean, living life of vices, I would say. But again, bro, I met so many good people, you being one of them. I believe my college life was so amazing. People come to Galgotias and I've heard people saying कि उनकी college life इतनी ऐसे boring है and it's a shitty college and whatnot. But I believe it has been so fucking amazing for me because I find the right set of people and right set of people who I can be myself with. So that is where I thrived, and I believe it has been insane for me since then.
That's absolutely beautiful because I remember someone asking me just before this podcast that what is the significance of council outside of the university? Where do we stand? So, I feel like every junior should know this, that Student Council of Galgotias University is actually massive. It's actually massive in North India because no other university, not even Amity, the Amity events are run by the administration. No university allows students to have complete autonomy over what they're doing or what sort of budgeting they have. So the things that we're learning in council, it's I can't even compare it with anything right now.
Also, coming, tracing back to what you just said, I believe students who, come to Galgotias and they say they don't have a life here is because they have not met the right set of people. Because it is always about the people. Even if you go to some other universities, you go to DU, you go to any big college, you don't care. If you don't find the right set of people, it will be shitty for you. It will be shitty for you.
Definitely.
And it is on you if you cannot find the right people for yourself. That is what I believe.
In the end.
Anyways, tell me, if it was not law for you, who would you be as a person speaking academically? If not a lawyer.
And if not a lawyer, not even gonna be modest about it. Ever since I was a child, I used to love to lead teams. Not boss around, but lead teams, as what we discussed. So, and I feel like there's this very beautiful thought, like there's a king and there's a kingmaker. So I would have been the kingmaker. So to professionally say, that would have been something in the PR, or maybe someone that is actually devoting the time in the background to build someone's up, build someone's persona in the front of the public. Something on that note, I feel like definitely.
Do you also believe, for example, like we are podcasting, we are recording an interview with it is quite impromptu for us, but let's just say if it was a very formal interview, more like an interview, so it won't make very much of a connection to the audience since we are talking very Gen Z. Take care. It would be really relatable to people, and people would really love to hear it. Even if I start using slangs, it has been shitty, fuckity ball. So would it be more connecting to people who listen to it?
I mean, definitely, because see, the thing is, like, I feel like half the problem of the world is, be it the politician, be it the brands, be it the things that we are eating or buying, nothing is real. Like the advertisements that you see, they're not real. So, for a moment, like, what connects you with someone is if you're being real. So, of course, when you talk freely, you connect with people. If this was scripted, it would have not been. So, scripted shit sucks.
It does.
I know, right? So, I mean, of course, so in a broader sense, simply because we are talking in, let's say, I don't know, I'm not even sure if the Gen Z would be able to resonate with us or not, but just because we are real, it makes
We're quite on the borderline, I believe, somewhere.
jumping
Yeah.
jack, whatnot.
I mean, I beg your pardon to move, but I believe it was more than a podcast from my head to a guest. It was more like a conversation between two friends. That was way too impromptu. It was lovely, man. It was lovely.
Likewise. It was totally likewise. It was a pleasure to just be here along with you and have this lovely conversation. Yes.
Shall we? Thank you so much.